it for one last time. There we go. Thank you to Mike Harmon, our musical director, who composed that piece for us that we've been using over the past, 12 weeks. I don't even know. It's been a long run. Welcome to Co-Video Live TV, episode 44. If you haven't heard, this is our last episode before going on hiatus. Hiatus means we're probably not going to be doing regular shows anymore. We will keep the channel up and running. We will create content as needed. But right now, we're going to be going on hiatus after tonight's show. We've got a perfect guest lined up for tonight, somebody that I've been hounding to be on. As soon as he had the strength to hold the phone and figure out how to use Zoom, I booked him. My booking department booked him up. But again, for the safety of him, as I do for all of the guests, make sure we do a quick temporal scan here. And 98.8, it dropped a little bit. I was at 99 earlier. Somebody asked me if I'd ever been high temperature. No, I think the highest it's been is about 99, which is about right because it's pretty hot outside. And the little studio in the office at home does get a little hot. If I sound a little nervous, I am a little nervous. I feel like 8th grade graduation night. I'm happy for this to be over. But at the same time, I'm kind of sad that it's going to be ending. Got a lot of people checking in the chat room. Mike Sankowski, Larry Gorsuch, both former guests. I did invite some former guests on. I'm glad that they're checking in. Sherry Tobolski. I like to call people by how I knew them back in 1982. Sherry Tobolski's there. Dave Dalton is there. And my first guest, Lee Smolin, my brother, has checked in as well. All right, so we are all here. I guess without further ado, what am I saying without guess? I know, with firm conviction, without further ado, we're going to bring in our first and only guest for the night, our final guest for Co-Video Live TV. You have a nice Co-Video Live TV welcome to Jim Phillips. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It is awesome to see you. Hopefully the smile on my face indicates that. It is good to see you again. We've been zooming a little bit in preparation, but we finally made it here today. Where are you at today? Let everybody know where we could find you tonight.
Well, first of all, I'm at 98.3.
Oh, you did check.
And I'm happy to be there.
Well played.
I'm real fortunate. I'm up in Chicago. I got a lakefront room at Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. It's a rehab center, and I'm finishing my first week, and they're doing a real good job. So.
That's at Northwestern Hospital. I've been there. I asked you, you are downtown, not too far off of Michigan Avenue. I asked you if you happened to hear any police sirens or any breaking glass or anything lately, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of sirens and everything. The other side of the building, I might have saw some, but right now I got a few glimpses of Lakeshore Drive and the lake, but I didn't see any of the activity.
When you fall asleep with the view of Lake Michigan, do you have dreams about reeling in large sturgeon or lake bass or something, huh?
Smallmouth.
Smallmouth. Yeah, like the one that I caught.
It's upsetting. I haven't seen a single fisherman yet.
Let me just show you the one that I reeled in the other day here.
Yeah, giddy up, man. That thing's beautiful.
It's starting to smell up the office. I better clean it soon. Caught it a couple days ago.
Okay.
Okay, right. So, wow, we have a lot to catch up on. Can we turn the Wayback Machine? We might as well start at the start. Can we turn the Wayback Machine down to, let's see, you and I last chatted back in the middle of March when the ship hit the sand, so to speak, and we were talking about what was going on, what we were doing, what the hell was going on. The next thing I heard was something on Facebook that shocked me, that you were in the hospital. Give me the week that led up to that. What happened?
Yeah, I came home from work on Friday around the 27th, and I had the chills. Took my temperature. We watched a movie as a family. I actually laid on the ground just in case. And then I woke up the next morning with 104 fever, and that kind of kicked everything off. So Kate, my beautiful wife, she quarantined everybody in the house. Put us on lockdown, and then I spent the rest of the weekend and up until Friday just kind of battling that fever. It wouldn't go away. Started getting the chest stuff and the pain. We were real lucky. She got to Walgreens and found an oximeter, If anybody out there can find an oximeter, it's a great thing to have. They're about $20. Measures your O2 saturation. And then over the course of the week, I lost all my taste buds. And then by Friday morning, I was kind of a mess. And she called the EMTs, and they came and got me.
Which would have been Friday, April 3rd or 4th, April 3rd-ish, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, and that was when I was alerted as to what was going on. I had some notes. I went back and because you were in and out of drug-induced stupor, right?
Yes.
I took some notes. I went back through Facebook and what Kate had posted there. So April 4th was the first day that you were into ICU. Did you end up straight to the ICU then?
You know what, Ron? So I remember arriving at St. Anthony's. I remember a couple bits and pieces about the room they put me in. And then I remember arriving at I remember the ambulance ride to St. Margaret's in Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where after all that, they took me there to get off the ventilator.
Mm-hmm.
And so that period in between, I don't remember a whole lot of that.
Well,
you know more about that. You know as much about that as I do.
Well, let me just go through some highlights here from April 4th update. In the ICU on April 5th, we were notified that you were on a ventilator. Kind of shocking news to hear. On the 8th, a post referred to you getting meds to stop fighting because you did have the vent. So it sounded like that was an issue, keeping you calm and keeping you from trying to pull the tube out and go home, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. April 10th, to quote, back where he started. 11th, okay, needs to remain calm. April 12th, Easter, and you were calm at that time. April 14th, small improvement, then slowly lowering the vent, stable. Now on the 19th, he's fighting, fever, trending, but then trending in the right direction, lowering the vent, extubated, heavily sedated, back on vent. That brings us to the end of April. Man, got the trach too.
Homework, didn't you?
I did. Getting off of sedation, more responsive, still in ICU and on vent. That would be 1 month in on May 4th. And I'm sure they didn't have a cake with candles, but May 5th was something important for you, right?
Cinco de Mayo, that's my birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw some pictures after the fact.
Right.
So they did, my wife and the kids and my sister, Melissa, and the nursing staff, they held a nice little party for me. So I saw the pictures. It was nice.
Excellent. Birthday. Good night of rest on the 6th. Resting. Good therapy. And on May 9th, that was the date you referred to. May 9th, you moved over to St. Margaret there at the long-term care facility there, right? 4th floor.
Yep.
Where our friend Mike Toper was able to visit. So he was the first person that you might have seen in a long time, close friend. Right?
Yeah, Mike Toper and Keith Gorsuch. And
Duddy.
It was great to see him. God only knows what I said to those guys because it took me a while to sober up after the ICU meds.
Uh-huh.
But it was nice to see some faces that that you really mean a lot to you.
Yeah, that was the 12th or so Mike Toper visited, and then I noted we spoke on the 20th, and I thought you sounded fantastic, and I was surprised. I thought you would be real weak, and now it was that booming Jim Phillips voice that we all know and love, and you were talking at that time about beginning to come out of the unreality, the dream world that you were into. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, I'll tell you about talking first because it was pretty uplifting. I had the trach in and I was on the vent, and it's not a comfortable thing when you're getting better. And all of a sudden they took me off the vent, and they plugged this little valve in my trach, and I just started talking, and that was great because it was all sign language and writing stuff on whiteboards and trying to communicate with the family over Facebook and video or Google Duo. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. So you're asking about the meds.
Yeah. Okay. Let me take a quick pause here and mention a couple of people that showed up. Carrie Wolendowski, Barb Setmeyer, Mike Slam, my brother Lee Sherry, Moosey, Gary Meter. Did you hear Gary Meter got tested positive for the COVID antibodies?
Is he okay?
Yeah, yeah, he did. Well, he had
Good.
intestinal issues, and he was a guest on the show, and we talked at length about it. But oh, back to you.
Yeah.
This is your show. You're my guest tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, I during that 6 weeks or whatever I was at St. Anthony's, lot going on in my head. Went to a lot of places, did a lot of things, and then some good, some bad. A lot of family stuff, some weird things. But I mean, when it was all said and done, it took about a week and a half, and I realized I still had my same, beautiful wife. I still had all the kids. We were still living in the same house, and we were in Crown Point, and that was pretty comforting to know.
Right.
But
because you weren't sure where you were living, you said the way you put it to me, you said it took me. I had to kill these alternate realities that lived in my head, and one by one, I ticked them off, and got you sounding good.
Yeah. It was an interesting time.
Oh, hey, it wasn't Barb Setmeyer. Barb Setmeyer says it's Jeff. Say hi to Jim. You can see all these comments when you watch the show later. All the comments will replay in the sidebar, Jim, when you want to look at it later.
Cool.
You are looking very good, though. I like the clinical hospital lighting is very good to you. Looking good.
Yeah.
You've been ordering double portions there, you said?
Yeah. They're great here, man. I mean, you could get whatever you want, but the food's been very good. I had salmon the other day, quinoa rice, some squash and zucchini.
Right.
They treat me like a king, dude.
Excellent. Hey, when is I don't know if you realized it, but your mug was in the Times, in the paper, online, covered by the Times twice. I've got notes here back in April and on April 15th-ish or so. Around the time that you said you ate applesauce, and it was an incredible experience to eat semi-solid food.
Yeah, that was with my speech therapist, Annette, who was terrific over at St. Margaret's. And, there's little things the first time you do them that are just terrific. But the blue applesauce swallow test was pretty cool. That was the first time I'd eaten anything. Seemed like the first hot shower you take in a month and a half, 2 months. Those things are pretty cool.
You talk about eating, and I mentioned it. It's been brought up on the program before. At the early on in the lockdown, we all had really nowhere to go, and I think a lot of people, including me, spent more time eating with their families instead of running 5 different directions. We would sit down and at least have one meal together at night. Yeah. Something that I hope everybody appreciated doing and continues to do, has continued to do. You really didn't get a chance to experience that, or did you there for a couple weeks?
Yeah, we were pretty much on lockdown at the house, and not as much as now, but it was minimal trips to the store. Nobody. There was a little bit of interaction with a couple of kids. Like one friend per child, and a little bit of relative stuff. But we were already on lockdown, so.
Mm-hmm. Are you? How much are you looking forward to being home and having a meal with your family?
Oh, it's going to be terrific, man. I got real lucky. I got to spend a half an hour with Kate before they brought us here, and I got to see the kids on the way to the ambulance, and pretty neat. Mm-hmm. Great experience, man. They've been terrific. We're constantly either FaceTiming or Google Duo. And whoever doesn't have Google Duo with their family, get it. It's an absolute blast. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I started out using Skype, and it was an issue with passwords and stuff, and we go to Zoom. Yeah. So you're viewing us here on Zoom. They're not a sponsor, but I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah.
Either way, people were doing that too, getting together with folks that they hadn't seen in a while, whether it was family or friends from grade school or whatever, setting up Zoom calls or group calls like that. And hopefully those are the kind of things that people will continue to do. Hopefully it's given us this whole COVID thing's given us a little bit of perspective, huh?
Yep.
All right. So, what did I also want to hit on? Oh, I'm not as good as I thought. Too much time between shows here. It's been over a week. I wanted to get a couple pictures on maybe some of that video. The video of you leaving the hospital was awesome. The little video clip of you getting some fresh air with the arms up in the air with the that was cool. I could have rolled it, but I thought people can go back and watch it later.
Yeah, I had no idea she was videoing that, but I think she posted that, and my phone kind of blew up. So, but it was cool. I got a bunch of good phone calls from a bunch of, great people, and that's always fun to have. So.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you mentioned you were just amazed at the number of people that were involved in your care, or can I, without being overly dramatic, keeping you alive at some point,
Yeah.
right? Did you want to speak
Yeah.
a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's really overwhelming and almost emotional. But the the nurses, the doctors, um, family members, and it's just it's amazing how, I guess you'd just say, selfless, tireless, and dedicated the medical professionals. They don't know you, they get attached to you. And they're going, God only knows what they're going through, between their normal lives and the COVID and all the extra hours. But I got a whole new perspective and level of respect. They're definitely my heroes. I got a whole bunch of people to go back and thank. My wife absolutely loves the nursing staff at St. Anthony's, and I feel bad because I haven't even really met them yet.
Right.
I lived with them all that time,
Right.
but I got to go back and meet them, and I'm going to do that. My wife, my sister Melissa, my sister-in-law Patty, some of Kate's friends. I mean, the support was unbelievable,
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I was kind of in. You and I called it La La Land, for that 6 weeks or so. But during that time, the family had a ton of support. My family doctor, Tim Mullally, I hope he doesn't mind me, putting out his name, but him and his wife, Lisa, were just absolutely terrific. Not only medically, being an advocate, but also, constantly keeping Kate up to date. And then, the doctors over at St. Anthony's and St. Margaret's and the ones I have here are terrific. So there's just a ton of people, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
And we got all kinds of meals. One of our friends mowed the lawn for several weeks, donations. And then probably the biggest thing is just prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Tons and tons of prayers. And, you don't really feel like you deserve it, but after the fact, when you hear about all of it, it's pretty amazing. So greatly appreciate it.
You are continuing to get support from the people up at the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab there. Tell us what you've been undergoing there.
Yeah. These people are terrific. I had been listening to their commercial on the radio for about 9 months. So when we started looking at places to go, we asked them to try to line this up. They had a bet for June 1st, which was right in our timeline. They got me off the vent and they got the trach out a little early. So I think I got here on the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple days of evaluations. And then that was last week, probably Thursday and Friday, a little PT over the weekend and occupational therapy. And then Monday, they gave us the plan. So the plan is to be here till the 18th
mm-hmm.
of this month,
mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to head home.
Right. That is fantastic news. You've got to be looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
So a lot of dealing with novel virus as COVID or COVID-19 is the disease. The virus is called SARS-CoV whatever. But a lot of what is known about this is unknown, and as well as long-term effects on it. But it seems to me that you've been doing very well in regaining lung capacity, diminishing the amounts of oxygen required, walking further distances. A slow recovery, yet a recovery nonetheless, right?
Yeah, it's I'm making very good strides. I'm not going to run to Strax and sprint through the store and spend $200. But I've gone from barely being able to stand on 2 feet to walking with a walker, walking without a walker, slowly increase in how far I can go. I lost a lot of muscle, so they're doing upper body stuff with me. But slowly it's starting to come back. I got a long haul, but that's okay. That's okay. As long as I keep seeing the progress, we'll be good.
Mm-hmm. What are you looking?
I got to get over to Finke's and do my share in the marsh.
Yeah, getting things ready. So what are you looking forward to most? What is it that you're excited to be able to get back and try and do? You mentioned pepperoni pizza. You mentioned being able. It's funny that as people would judge their recovery or as a milestone or something. You were saying, I don't know when I'm going to be able to carry decoys through the marsh, right? That's your goal, right?
Yeah, if I get there, my lung capacity will have recovered, and I'll be real happy. So I doubt it's going to be in October, but I'm hopeful that next October I'll be 100%.
Right.
So if not, we'll deal with it. Glad to be alive right now.
Yeah, it's been awesome, awesome. We all feel the same way. Everybody that is joining in. Al Nevey checking in too as well.
Good. Hey, tell Dalton to call me after the call. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
You just did it.
Yeah, I know.
So June 18th is the date. Can you squeeze one more Times article in there, Jim? Because people are wondering what's going on.
No, they should be interviewing and thanking all the nurses and doctors and everybody. They shouldn't be messing with me.
All right, so you're gonna decline the interview if they come at you again.
Yeah, I woke up at St. Margaret's, and one of my I don't know if it was a respiratory therapist or one of the nurses came in with the article, and I probably turned about 6 shades of purple. So.
So what do you think, what are your thoughts on going forward? We mentioned how safe that you need to be, whether you could reacquire the disease, you're not even sure, or am I misunderstanding?
No, I think I know what everybody else knows. That's one of the interesting things is this thing's so new and there's so little information about it that when you talk to the medical professionals, they know a lot, but they don't know a lot. I asked them about, a couple of the last facilities I've been in, and they haven't had any, okay, this person's on the road to recovery. We think they're fine. All the symptoms are gone. They may or may not be passing a test as positive, but they haven't had any situations where it came back or somebody left and had to come back. So that's promising. Obviously I don't want to get sick, and obviously I don't want Kate to get sick or any of the kids to get sick. So we're just going to have to continue to, be safe and take the precautions and, be smart.
Yeah, be extra vigilant. The way you put it to me made sense that until you get your full strength back, you don't need anybody else to take care of around there as well. So, yeah, understood. Yeah. But soon as you are able to, we have to have some sort of celebration, right?
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
I'm so tired of drive-by stuff. You haven't been around for any of that, but the drive-bys. I'm so tired of drive-bys. Let's get back to having a real party sooner than later, please. No one's gonna rush you though, Jim. No one's gonna.
No, I hear you, buddy.
All right. Did we not cover anything that we said that we wanted to, or is there anybody that you wanted to give a shout out to or say hello to?
No, my wife's just been terrific. She's a machine, and she's been taking care of me, arranging everything, doing, taking care of the family, keeping people posted. So I owe a lot to her and everybody that's really been supporting her. And the kids have been really good through this whole thing too. So, but the community, old friends from Our Lady of Grace, from high school, people I've worked with, the amount of messages I've gotten is crazy. I've been trying to call everybody. It's just the list goes on and on. So
it does.
But it's yeah. It's been fun. Yeah, you're right. I still got some time to catch up with everybody.
Yeah, well, there is a silver lining though. You didn't have to deal with helping your kids with e-learning at all. E-learning assignments. You didn't have to fight with anybody over toilet paper at a supermarket. Different things like that. So you did okay.
Yeah, I actually got I got I got my toilet paper at Lowe's. Paid a little extra for it, but so I was part of the mad rush for the toilet paper myself. I got to experience that.
Right.
So
So if you had any advice for people coming from your position, what from your perspective, what you've learned in the past couple of months here, what would you say to people? This is
just,
here it is, worldwide audience, Jim. What do you
listen,
want?
Yeah, it sounds like the masks are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was practicing some pretty good social distancing. Okay. I was scrubbing my hands. We had adjusted, how we were interacting with everybody, but no masks, so, just wear your masks. Don't go anywhere you don't need to. Be reasonable. Wash your hands. Use whatever means are possible. Stay in touch with everybody until we got this thing figured out. But I think the masks are a big deal.
How about on a higher level? Have you got any greater insight on the meaning of life or anything like that to share with us?
Just really the whole people side of it. I got a much bigger appreciation for friends and family, and what that means. The medical community, and it'll change you. It'll change when you see people come out and help you, and help you in some pretty substantial ways. The whole prayer thing is unbelievable. And the volume of prayers and prayer groups and other things, vigils and everything. It's pretty overwhelming. So, I mean, that's about it.
No, I was trying to think of some things to say as the show goes off the air or goes on hiatus here, and that was one thing I wanted to touch on. I'm glad we have a minute to chat about it right now, about people, connecting with people. I hope that people don't overlook or forget the feeling of missing people and how good it felt to connect with people, even if it was through a camera or online, and that we can keep that going, especially in these times now,
Yeah, there's ways to stay together. These cell phones are absolutely terrific at a time like this. It's crazy. But I think going forward, I probably spend more time with people, than doing things. But it's going to be hard to say thank you to everybody, but I'm going to try my best.
Well, you got to start tonight. You covered a lot of the people that I think you wanted to. I guess I could always pull the show out of hiatus if you give me a call and say, Ron, we got to do it again. I need to thank this person. I left somebody out. But we'll probably wrap it up.
Yeah, let's hope the whole thing's on a downswing and things are going to get back to normal, in a reasonable amount of time. And, there's a vaccine and everything else, and we can get back to living normal.
All right. Good words to wrap it up with. Any other final thoughts on it? So we cut you loose?
No, I appreciate being on the show. And like I said, just thanks to everybody for, all the nice things they've done, the kind words, the texts. And it was great. There was a time when, either on the front end or the back end, when I was seeing texts and smiling, but I wasn't responding, all of those people that sent me stuff, I really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing my best since I got all of my faculties back and everything, and to thank everybody and reach out to them. So it's been pretty cool.
Excellent. Hey, and you made it through over a half hour here without having to put a pause on the show as we spoke, right?
Yeah. Well,
and without anybody interrupting you to come in and, turn you over or take your temperature. The door's right behind you. I don't see anybody sneaking in on you.
Yeah, I kind of told them we were going to have a conference call for a while, so.
All right. Well, they're staying away. I appreciate you. Apparently you scared them, I guess.
Nah, they're just good people.
Have you met any other interesting patients or stories there? Have you had a chance to interact with anybody that's there?
Just a little bit in the gym. They're keeping everybody with the social distancing and the occupational and physical therapy people. There's also speech therapists and a few other kinds, but they've got everybody working real hard. So it's more like of an encouraging, hey, looking good. How you doing? Looks like you're getting better, but that's about the extent of it, because we're on a COVID floor, and the same precautions that they have in the hospitals, they've got up here.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. So nobody is still able to visit you. The next time you're going to see your family is planned to be June 18th when they kick you out of there, right?
You got it, buddy.
All right, Jim. All right. Though I don't really want to end it, because that means the show's over for a little bit. We'll be talking, though, but this is going to wrap up our portion of the interview. Again,
well, congratulations, man, on the show. This was great. I saw a couple episodes. They were entertaining. I don't know if I can go back and watch the other ones. Can I do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're VOD, video on demand. Episodes 2 through 44 are on YouTube. Episode 1 was actually over on Facebook. But as I had mentioned before, maybe spoken off air, it becomes a document, a snapshot of what life in the USA, at least in this area, was like in the middle of 2020, right? So I think we did a pretty good job of putting some of that out there.
That'll keep me busy between now and the 18th.
Binge watch, as the kids call it. Binge watch.
Little Netflix.
Yeah, right. Binge watch CoVideo Live TV. All right, Jim, we will be in touch with you. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry if I was hounding you to get you on. I felt like a reporter trying to get the scoop, get the interview, but I thought you had something to say. You definitely did. I've enjoyed every minute of this here.
Yeah, me too, Ron. Thanks a ton, buddy.
All right, and with that, we'll cut Jim out. Thanks for joining us, Jim.
Appreciate it.
All right, and there goes his audio. All right, and with that, we wrap up CoVideo Live TV episode 44. I had struggled to come up with some words to say. I thought I do not want to linger on and babble on about how great the show has been, but it's been wonderful to have guests to share. I've enjoyed every conversation that I shared with all of the guests. I added it up. Some people were on 2 or 3 times, but there were over 50 people that had been on the show. Enjoyed every minute of that. Enjoyed sharing some stories with people, educating people, entertaining people. That was a great time. Thank you to all the guests who appeared on the show. Thanks to a couple people, my wife, for allowing this to happen. There were so many nights where I would quickly eat dinner and run down to the studio to get the show going and test out the Zoom or the Skype and get things going. So definitely thanks to my family for supporting me in off air and on air, because they all 3 were on it sometime. Thanks to all my guests. Thanks to Mike Harmon, my musical director, for coming up with the music unsolicited. Thanks to Eddie Wantuck, who came up with the logo for me. Again, these are hours that I would have had to have spent, but these people pitched in and helped me out. Sure, I'm leaving a lot of other people out, but I wanted to end with one thing. This is a basic transcript of the video that I created on March 16th, on the eve of episode 1. So the idea behind CoVideo Live TV is to provide a venue at an appropriate social distance via social media for the presentation of reliable information, the sharing of stories, in a hopefully entertaining way, which will serve to reduce the collective anxiety that seems to have gripped this country as we confront the COVID-19 crisis. I think we've done that. I think we've done a good job at doing that. And so for everybody who participated in any way, thank you very much. There's not much more to say other than to roll the music. Let me get the video. I love this song. I really do like this song. All right. I'm going to let this soak in a little bit as we fade out. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for all through 44 episodes. We will be back if there's something important going on. It's not going to be a regular broadcast, but we will put something together as needed. All right? As we end the show normally, take care, everybody. Be safe. We'll see you again soon.